last cars approaching the back of the grid.
Need to watch all that again.
Yeah, I can brake for low speed, mate.
What the fuck? He's played the game, but there's no way he would have made the corner.
We have 7 seats on the pit wall. Christian, team principal, race strategist, the 2 race engineers, Jonathan, sporting director, Pierre Wachet, technical director, and we also have another seat where at the moment we have a second strategist supporting strategy, but also keeping an eye out on the weather for us.
Mexico itself is quite different with the high altitudes. Sometimes you get quite a lot of graining on the tyres, sometimes you don't have any. So it's quite a tricky one to assess what the degradation is going to be like. Every track is different, so it's really easy sometimes for people to be swayed by what has just happened the weekend before, and that might not be at all applicable to the next track. So you use historic information when it's really important and when it is applicable to the next race. So that's something that we're obviously always looking out for and trying to gain patterns of over the season.
You arrived yesterday here? Yeah, yesterday night. I saw your schedule.
You saw it?
But I mean, yeah. Checker, what was in the race? What was your main issue? Understeer or?
I couldn't brake into the low speed.
Because every time it just
like there was a lot of traction always on the low speed, but coming into there was nothing.
There's only a limit, you know, to what you can do. Thanks a lot. The best for the race.
You want a picture?
Yeah. Right on the edge.
I'm really nervous.
Go closer.
You are really not scared. Okay. That's gorgeous.
It's a good track. It's a fast track. So it's the start of a really important phase of the championship for us.
People just keep trying to get you disqualified, don't they?
Well, that's normal, isn't it? When you've been competitive and you run at the front, it's inevitable that people are going to have a go at you, and it becomes a little boring after a while. But how's season 7 shaping up?
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot though.
You're not portraying me as the villain this year?
When's that ever happened?
Seasons 1 to 6?
I want to meet you, Max! Come out!
The altitude here has several effects on the performance of the car. Firstly, the absolute aero loads are very low in terms of the actual forces on the car, more equivalent to Monza despite the levels of downforce that we're running. It has some fairly dramatic influence on powertrain cooling, brake cooling, but also tyre cooling, believe it or not. It becomes a very tricky overall conundrum to try and solve.
We've tried a few things on the front suspension that have improved some of our issues, and Checo perceived them pretty well, so we carried that from last weekend and gone a step further this weekend.
The role of the strategist is we're getting all sorts of information from lots of different places. We take the driver feedback very seriously. There's a lot of things they know and can feel in the car that maybe we can't see in the data. Then we've got our whole operations room who are looking at all the timing data, listening to all the radios. You should be able to take all that information in, look at the big picture, and then decide what's the best thing to do.
Obviously we had the engine issue with Max, so never ideal to miss out on laps like that. It's mainly just trying to make up for lost time in terms of learning, really. The number of laps the drivers can get on the board obviously helps them get ready for qualifying. Having lost that mileage, it's a little bit tough to know where we'll end up. I hope we can challenge for pole. Ferrari do look quick though, so I think they're going to be probably the favourites, but let's see how today plays out.
There we go!
Radio check.
From here, I basically go and do a load of calculations to work out what I think the cut-offs will be in each session. And we have some more chats with the drivers and the engineers ahead of qualifying as well. So we're all on the same page of what we'll do in different scenarios, depending what's going to happen.
Yeah, I can brake for low speed, mate. Can't stop the car.
Okay, that is 15 at the moment.
Unfortunately, with Checo being quite a long way back, but we can potentially try something a bit different tomorrow in the race, try and get him a bit further up.
Keep a good look at the Ferraris at turn 2, they've been getting greedy there.
It's a good recovery from yesterday, guys, well done. Unfortunately, third on the grid's quite nice here, isn't it?
Started Q1, very limited. I could not attack at all the braking. As soon as I want to get back on throttle, there is no regrip.
Checo, what's the difference between, because 4 you are a little bit better than 12, for example?
It's the bump in 12 that is the problem. It's almost like you just have to like commit to almost like just brake on the bump. You know, it's very uncomfortable because you think you're going to miss the corner, but somehow the car stops. But I get the point that it really bottoms bad in the braking there in 12. Like, I also don't feel good. But it's almost like I just say to myself, like, I just commit to it.
So, as we've been discussing all weekend, I'm still expecting a majority one-stop race. Our default stop lap is still lap 29, and the actual fastest race is lap 32. So you could see people going up to around then.
When we hit the track, it's very much about business. We focused on the job at hand, being at the head of the field, especially with the sensitivity of the tyres. These days is a great benefit for the leader because you're able to manage your pace. We'll be patient whatever position we're in and just really trying to make sure we're focusing on lap by lap, trying to extract the best potential. Good morning, Helmut. Give me 5 minutes.
When a race is about to start, we go out to the pit wall quite a bit before, so you're probably out there like 20 minutes earlier, just watching in case anything untoward happens. That also gives you quite a lot of time to focus, just make sure your software's set up, everything's good, listen to the national anthem. We have a bit of a superstition where you have to definitely stand up for the national anthem, otherwise it's bad luck. And for me, that's a time when I do always still feel a bit nervous, even though you've been doing it for so long. But I think that's a good sign because it means you actually care. And I try and stay quite calm, like quite a little bit of silence. It just feels like, I guess, almost magical about the enormity of what you're doing.
Last cars approaching the back of the grid now, Max.
Okay, I need to watch all that again. Maybe 3 cars stopped on track, 1 at turn 1, 1 in between turn 3 and turn 4.
So Max, for info, you've been given a 10-second penalty.
It's quite impressive.
Given the penalty, I think it's more likely that we'll be going longer. I have open Max's safety car and virtual safety car windows. If we want to 2-stop Checo, then we should pit around now. Cue from Hannah on me.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Push on the tyres as though we're doing a 2-stop, aiming for around lap 46. Currently, Colapinto has the fastest lap, so I think we should do it with Checo.
Yeah, we'll give it a crack. Frustrating race today, Max, but you gave it everything.
With penalties and things, there's always two sides of an argument, so I'm sure a lot of that will get discussed. It felt like quite a big penalty for us with Max. I think we did the best we could do strategically with the pace and with the penalties we had.
Very tough afternoon, unfortunately it didn't work out. It's my biggest dream, you know, to come here and one day win, and I will try everything for next year again.
We just have to try and understand what went wrong this whole weekend, because it felt like we're not really competitive, and try to be better in Brazil.